Hello everyone, and welcome to another evening with me, Jessica, at the Tunisian Crochet Graphghan Boutique. I look forward to seeing you all pop on here and ask all of your questions, and I will give everybody a few minutes to pop on and join me here. We've had a lot of questions this week and a lot of people getting help in the background, and I have to move my stand closer. There we go. Sorry. Hi, Angela. I know a few of you know how hard I work behind the scenes. This week has been extremely busy behind the scenes with a lot of questions and a lot of information in helping people behind the scenes. I'm glad to do it. I know that many of you say thank you for helping me, and that they think they're a pain in the butt, but you never are. That's what we do here, is we help people. So if you have any questions, pop them down in the comments and I will get them answered. In the files, we do have a chart that will help you with sizing, whether you are doing the Tunisian, a Tunisian pattern, or any of the other stitches that are available, like corner to corner, because we have so many other groups that Erica and I and Angela help out with, that we figured this would be a great place to culminate all the information. So that's in our files. Hi Gloria, hi Valerie, hi Stephanie. Thank you guys for all joining me. Hi Melinda. Let's see, I don't even know where to start. There's so much going on. Let's see. For those of you that ordered the Lily Chin video for the 2-color, we did talk about this last week. It's like 20 bucks. This teaches you how to do the color in the round, and will teach you the flat panel as well. It's a great video tutorial to learn the color changes and everything else to make things pop if you're doing in the round. Lisa, do you go up to hook sizes for the entrelac as well? Yes. Hi Connie, hi Rita. Yes, you do. Tunisian is such a dense fabric that what happens is when you're always working in the front, it will curl a lot, and with the entrelac it will as well. The Around the World, which is the block that you crochet in entrelac, and then you crochet around it the blocks, that one doesn't seem to curl as much because you're turning the stitches. They're not all facing the same direction. The corner to corner entrelac does curl. The larger hook is a godsend. For those of you that had the questions, that 2-color Tunisian crochet in the round is absolutely fantastic. It teaches so much that I've been doing Tunisian for several years, and I still will go back and watch that video because there's so much information in it and things that I'm learning and that are new, and it's an absolute godsend. Stephanie, so I took your advice and went to Amazon and bought a 7mm hook. Just got it today. Yay. I love that hook. I cannot tell you how many times I have tried a 6mm or a 6.5mm, and it's just about right, but not quite there. And then I used 8mm, and I had holes on my project and was like, I need the 7mm. Melinda said hers come in the other day. Yesterday I was board shopping and I bought a few things, and I'm hoping that they come in pretty soon. I bought some books that they have some Tunisian stuff in them, so I'm hoping that these have what I'm looking for. And they're old books. I have been trying to find a book a certain book for a long time now, and I still have not found it because it's out of print. I'm hoping one day to find my elusive great white whale of a book. But in the meantime, I'm hopeful that I will find it, and I just keep looking. Hi, Terry. There's so much information out there about Tunisian and different stitches, and Erica said she went board shopping too. You know, and the fortunate thing about them is, you know, as Tunisian's growing, there's so much more information out there than there was before. But with that being said, like a lot of the patterns overseas and stuff like that, they will have a pattern with a number, so it doesn't really have a name. And so YouTube is picking up some of these patterns, and people are naming it things that aren't exactly what it should be called, I guess, or they're naming it things that already have a name for a stitch, so it's a little confusing because the stitch diagrams aren't as standard as they are for like regular crochet, regular knitting across the board. So hopefully I found a few things I'm hoping to use. Some of them, if I can get all of them in and find what I'm looking for. I think if you have a pattern that's a diagram, and the diagram uses symbols that aren't the standard symbols, and they have a clear enough explanation, you guys can follow around and do them. Erica said she ordered banana clips. I absolutely love banana clips, and I still wear them. I get mine at the Dollar Tree. So, for those of you that are new, is there any questions about hooks? Is there anything you guys want to know? For those of you that have been here, the Warm Embrace rectangle shawl tea-cowl that's going on, I'm loving seeing all the work come together for all of that. This week I kind of fell a little behind. It has been extremely cold up here in PA, and it has been raining, and it has made me very tired, and my allergies, and my eyes are swollen now. So it's that kind of weather where you just want to kind of stay in bed with a cup of hot cocoa and watch TV. I don't like it. I cannot wait for it to warm up. I'm so jealous because when I talk to Erica, she's like, oh, it's 82 degrees down here. It's so hot. I have the air conditioning on. And I'm like, oh. So, let's see. The tea-cowl, I just added new rows on Tuesday. I'm like a week behind on mine. I need to catch up. It's kind of hard when, you know, you lose your Crojo for a little bit. Hi, Amy. The Knitter's Pride hooks, a few people have mentioned that they got the Denise set and they're having problems with their hands cramping and stuff like that. So I thought that Erica could maybe answer some tips or tricks for that. I know that a few of our members were gifted the Denise sets, and they very much appreciate them, but the hook is a little bit shorter. So for me personally, I think Tunisian is just one of them things that since if you've held your hook in a pencil grip, it is very hard to learn Tunisian because you have to hold the hook in a knife grip. Plus, you're learning to hold your hook, especially the interchangeable ones. When you have a long hook like this, people get used to all their stitches kind of being down on the end and not really holding them over them. When you get the shorter hooks, you have to hold and maneuver the hooks and your hand over the stitches, and I know that some new people have a lot of problems with that, because it's definitely something that takes about a whole project, you know, at least a pillow project, to get used to holding them. I'm having coffee because it is so cold here today. Erica said, "Hey George Jetson, when you coming down?" I told her I need a teleporter to get down there. It would be so nice. Hi Kim. So, let's see what else is going on. Like I said, the tea-cow that's going on, it's going to be up for a while. I know a few people said that they were just starting it, and a few people messaged me about sizing and all of that. It's actually in the event. Sometimes you have to go under the post into the comments to find some of the information, because you can't really put everything out there, because then it makes such a long post that people don't read it. So sometimes there'll be 2 or 3 comments at the top, and we put them at the top on purpose so that you guys can read them. Erica said she holds her Denise hooks back a titch further than the Knitter's Pride. You need to lighten your grip on the Denise also, because the plastic hooks can rub a callus also. That's very informative. Thank you, Erica. Someone had also asked how I like the Chiagu hook set. I do like them. I actually am using them for the tea-cow that we have going on right now. The length of the cable that comes with them is a little bit short, but these are nice. The bamboo, like I said, the bamboo is not as laminated as the Knitter's Pride set. They're not catching on anything, but these will warp easier in high humidity or if left in a project, because they do not have the thick lamination, and because bamboo is a much softer wood. So that takes a note to do. Can you touch a little about converting half double crochet to Tunisian? The Tunisian, and if you have a half double crochet pattern, and I believe Connie's talking about clothing, half double crochet is a little bit wider of a stitch. So half double crochet is one of them things that you have to play around and do a small gauge swatch. I usually like to get a 4-inch gauge swatch, so I usually do about 20 to 25 stitches and 20 to 25 rows to match the gauge, because this will depend greatly on the designer. Some of them are yankers, lifters, or riders. We have talked about that extensively in here, and the type of crocheter you are. And the reason that that video is so popular on Facebook that talks about the magic loop is because no one crochets the same. People learn things differently. Their tension is a bit different. And if you know what kind of crocheter you are, then it's easier to match gauge. And the reason that I found that video was because I was having trouble matching a designer's gauge, because she is a lifter. And I was making an article of clothing, and in order to match her gauge, I had tried everything, and then I found that video and I used it, and it's extremely helpful. But even with that, I'm a rider, and to lift the stitches up as high as this pattern was for was very difficult, and I knew I was not going to get gauge very easily that way, so this is a pattern that I knew it was going to take me an extensive learning curve to get. So that video was extremely helpful in that sense. So you're going to need to play around with your tension. You're going to need to know whether that, how to match that gauge. So I would watch that video and I would do a swatch that uses the, like a 4-inch swatch, so probably 20 to 25 stitches by 20 to 25 rows, and you're going to measure on the inside. With that being said, a lot of people will think, oh, I got gauge because I did this or I did the swatch, but they have not taken the swatch and actually blocked it, which is extremely important for clothing. You need to take your swatch and take a dishpan, a bowl, whatever. Take your 4-inch by 4-inch swatch and put it in there and move it around, get it completely wet, let it soak. Roll it in a towel. Do not squeeze. You can squeeze it. Do not twist it to wring it out. That will stretch it. And roll it in a towel and dry it. Lay it flat to dry. And that is how you measure the gauge for clothing. I can't say that enough. I know people hate doing gauge swatches. I know they do. I have done enough polls in here and enough people to get volunteering for swatches that they absolutely hate it. That is the best advice I can give you is, yes, just because you get gauge does not mean for clothing that's going to be your gauge, because it's worn, it hangs on you, you sweat and it expands. Please block your swatch, and there will be a video on how to block here shortly. As soon as we're done with the shawl, I will be showing how to do that so that it is done without heat, because I know how many people panic and think, oh my gosh, I've seen so many swatches or pieces ruined because people decided to gauge swatch with an iron or steam from something that's too hot. So that is my advice to you, Connie. Michelle said, I've tried multiple times to make a scarf using the double Tunisian stitch, and every time my work starts to angle, I've followed the tutorials closely. I've counted my stitches as I go along, and after each row, I still had the problem. What am I doing wrong? Michelle, if, I'm going to take some assumptions here. If you have marked your first stitch and your last stitch with a stitch marker, and your rows are going along and you're not losing a stitch, and you're making the last stitch correctly by going into the last place, the last stitch like we teach in our videos, then you are probably not doing anything wrong. Tunisian double crochet has a tendency to angle itself a pinch. And what happens is when you lay your project down, it will look like it's angling. What you need to do to fix that is when you're done with your project, if you are not losing stitches, if you are going into the correct space, then once you block your project and you lay it flat to dry, it will straighten out. It's more of a optical illusion than it is anything else. The only other thing you could be doing wrong, and it's not necessarily doing wrong, is some people, when they do the regular Tunisian simple stitch, they will see this happen, that one side is a little bit higher, the loops are a little bit bigger on one side than they are on the other, and it's usually on their dominant hand side. When you cast off, make sure that you tighten that stitch when you go to make the next row. Tighten that first stitch, that first loop that's on your hook, tighten that down, and then make your second stitch and tighten it, and then the third stitch, tighten it for those first 3 stitches, especially if your right hand side or your dominant hand side, since I'm right-handed, if your dominant hand side is a pinch higher on that side. That could be the only thing I really see going wrong. I hope that helps. Let me get down here. Is that the cable, the wire in the middle? Yes, this is the interchangeable cable. All of these, this has an adapter on it. because these, I think it's the H or the I and smaller, have a small base, and then if you're the, we'll say I and above, it has a thick base. So to be able to attach your cable, there is another piece that you need to screw on that goes from here to here, because it's much thicker. Hi Donna, trying to catch up here. So yeah, I hope, Michelle, I hope that makes sense, and Connie, I hope that makes sense with what I said. So and Connie, Tunisian does offer a Tunisian half double crochet. The thing about that is, if you're doing a Graphghan, I found with the Tunisian half double crochet, I didn't like the color changes. They, I had to twist the bobbins, and I did not like that. Is it safe to say you can use any type of yarn with any type of stitch? Yes and no. Yes, technically you can do the stitch in any yarn. Now, with that being said, certain yarns, like Pipsqueak, we'll say, is a fuzzy yarn. And if you use that yarn, you're not going to see your stitches. So, if you're designing something that has a pattern, so like we'll use the honeycomb because most of you are familiar with the honeycomb stitch. The honeycomb stitch has patterns in it, and that pattern is what pops. So if you use a fuzzy yarn, you are not going to see that pattern. If you use something like mohair or the Pipsqueak or whatever, it's going to get lost in the fuzziness of the yarn. So the short answer is yes, you can do it, but your yarn is going to depend on the texture of the stitch, whether it is seen or not. So that's a lot of things that determine if you're going to use a pattern stitch with something. And for example, like some yarns change color quickly and some yarns don't. And that's another reason why you might use a textured stitch in that case. Like for instance, this is a block that we're working up for the practice event that's going on here, and this one, the color changes are not happening in this yarn quick enough. So here is my yarn. The color changes are so far out. Now, with this being a shawl piece, the color changes being long are fantastic because you're doing a long piece. So you're going to see the color changes and they're going to happen. For this being a small practice piece that I'm doing, you really don't see it. And what happens is when I am weaving, you're not going to see these loops. And I know it's hard to see, but you're not going to see these loops weaved up and the color change pop as much because the color changes are so long in this yarn. So I need to go and find a yarn with shorter color changes where when I do this, it's going to pop more. Hi, Josie. Erica says, I love their knitting needles also. Yeah, I'm not so good at knitting. I guess, Sharon, that's the short and the long answer. Is yes, pretty much any stitch can be done in the yarn, but it depends on the detail that you want and if it's going to show, because different yarns are made up of different fibers. Another thing, since I have been, Melinda says I can't knit either. Hi, Elizabeth. So yes, I'm going to need a different yarn, obviously, to do the practice piece so that these will pop more, because this is just a little practice piece that's going to teach you a few stitches that we will be using on a shawl pattern that's also going to be released in here later on. What else is going on? Being stuck in my area, a few of my vacation plans got canceled, so I decided to take a little bit of that money and buy yarn. I know that's a big shock. I know many of us do. There is a company called Nomad, and for my first order they sent me this bag. You get a free complimentary bag with your first order. And they sell a lot of they're not dyed yarns. So I got like 10, there's 10 skeins in here, 10 hanks in here for like 60 bucks. Their eggshell is the color, and let me take one out here. They all come with a tag on them, and it talks about these are 70% superwash merino, 30% nylon. It's a 4-ply. This is a fingering sock weight. This yarn is a little bit cheaper. This is like $5.90 a skein. It is soft. It's not the softest, but it is nice and soft. I do like this. So I will be getting some Rit dye and dyeing yarn. So Erica says I'm ordering those soon. If you do order, they give you you get a bag. I got a decal. And your receipt. And then this card has all of the information about the yarn that I bought. It says, thank you for your purchase. Every yarn we curate is thoughtfully blended and carefully spun to be the perfect blank canvas. So that's what I got, and it's an eggshell. It says its eggshell is a true crowd pleaser, superwash merino wool with all its softness and warmth, comes direct from the source in Uruguay. Our spinning partners in Peru blend it with a bit of nylon for added strength and heavy-duty wear. They say it's hard to improve on a classic, but our source for high-quality fiber makes this economical choice a top-notch. So, I'm kind of excited because you can actually dye this with the all-purpose Rit dye. So I will be dyeing some yarn. Hopefully Erica and I can get together soon and go do that together and end up with some beautiful colors. So I'm super excited, and like I said, it was 60 bucks. So, and it came super fast. Even with everything going on, I ordered this and within 3 days I had it. So I was shocked. And this bag, I opened the bag and thought it was going to be small, but this whole great big thing fits in here, and I still have room to put more stuff that I'm taking to Erica's. And so, hi Carolyn. Does anybody have any questions so far? Hi Lisa. I think Erica and I are going to get together and put a resource, kind of like a resource guide together, and maybe make a unit or something out of it, and it's going to have the Lily Chin video and some of our favorite books, because I know that we get asked that a great deal, and I think that, you know, you guys being able to find it in one place would be fantastic. And it'll kind of give you guys a heads up on what books we have that are good, and maybe some that we'll even maybe do a rating system, because between Erica and I think we have a good deal of Tunisian books, and some of them we've ordered, and they've got some good patterns, but they're not as informative as you would want, like for a resource book to learn stitches, and other ones are good for the patterns, and that's about it. So that may be something we can get together here in the future as well, because like I said, there are so many good books out there, and you know, like I said, Erica and I have a ton of the Tunisian books. I'm trying to find one that's out of print, and it has been extremely difficult, and I'm wondering if I will ever find it. So, does anybody have any more questions about anything that's going on? Any of the events, the shawl cowl that's going on, the Graphghans? I know that we had a new member today post about the puff stitch, and there is a video in here for it, and I will probably have to go back and see who it was that was looking for the information on it. It was in Dawn Blake's group, so I'll have to pop back over there and see who it was. Today was a busy day. My husband finally got to see the doctor about his ankle again, and it's been a day. Everything with the healing is not going quite as expected, so I'm very hopeful. Hi, Sharon. So, does anybody have any questions? We will be posting, there is a challenge, a monthly challenge posted up in here for May, and every month a challenge gets posted, so you guys can do that if you want to. If you don't, you don't have to. It's not a necessity to be in the group to do. What else? Melissa McGee says, I'm still loving everything about this shawl. Thank you. Like I said, it's been cold and miserable and raining, and I kind of lost my Crojo for a week and was worried I wasn't going to be able to get it back. And so I have like 3 projects going on that got set down, and I was kind of disappointed that I haven't gotten anything done on them, so now I'm a week behind on the shawl, but it shouldn't take too long for me to catch back up. Oh, goodness grief. This is the shawl that we're talking about. This is the edge on it. I like this pattern because it's something that once you have done the border and you get to the main section, it is mind-numbing. You can sit and watch TV, you can do whatever, and as long as you can count, you know, keep track of your however many border stitches and however many main stitches you have, it is mind-numbingly easy. This yarn, I'm loving how soft it's working up. It's very drapey. I know that a lot of people are saying, you know, hey, it's not square. My sides when I lay it down, aren't laying flat. See how the bottom of mine ruffles a little bit. When you block this, and there will be a video on that, it's going to show you how to do that so this will lay flat. It's because the Tunisian simple stitch and the Tunisian slanted stitch that we're using are a little bit taller. The Tunisian knit stitch is always a pinch shorter and squattier. It's kind of like a single crochet. So, it's always something that if you build a border in, or you're doing a pattern in that stitch and you decide, hey, I want to do a border and it's going to be a much taller border, it's really not going to work with it just because it is a shorter stitch, and you really need to take that into account, especially if you're trying, oh, excuse me, if you're trying to mix regular crochet. I got the hiccups. If you're going to mix regular crochet with the Tunisian knit stitch, the gauge is much, much different. And that is another reason why I do not like to mix, oh, excuse me, regular crochet borders in with Tunisian stuff. It's a personal preference. I'm not saying you can't. There is a baby blanket that I'm working on for a friend. It is going to be a one-of-a-kind thing, and one of the stitches that I am doing are I'm trying to think of the word. They're a very tall stitch, and it is going to be something unique, and it's more of a I don't want to say a baby blanket that's more for show, because it's not, it doesn't really it doesn't have anything that's not going to pass safety standards, because of the way that I'm attaching. It's going to have a ribbon in it, but the way that I'm attaching it is going to be sewn, so it's not like it's going to come out or be a choking hazard or anything like that. So, because it's actually going to be in the blanket, but it's pretty interesting. I'm kind of excited about it. I'm trying to get the swatch worked up in with everything else that's been going on. Like I said, life kind of got a little crazy around here. So I'm kind of excited about coming out with that pattern and playing around with it as well. Melissa said I've gotten a little head, and it makes a good blanket over my legs while I work on it. Well, that's good. I need to get mine longer so it can be a blanket over my legs, because it's cold up here in PA. We're getting frost. It's going down to like 30, 31 tonight, and Saturday it's going to be like 28 or 29. My heater's still on. I have not like turned the air on at all up here. So, yeah, I need to get mine a little bit longer then. Maybe it'll make a good blanket. Although it's been so cold, my cat just wants to sit on me every day. I have coffee and he sits on my lap. Okay, does anybody have questions about any of the stitches that they learned in the practice piece that we did? Anybody have any questions executing it into the warm embrace shawl that we're doing? Does anybody have any questions about hooks? For any of the new members here, do you have any questions about finding things here? We do have a file for sizing. Erica has posted links to that stuff, and the Chiagu set of hooks. And does anybody have any questions? is there anything you guys would like to see in this group in the future that we're not having currently? Or haven't discussed? We're going to have a rectangle shawl pretty soon. Erica said, y'all can keep that weather, I'll stick with mine. Yeah, that's why I need a teleprompter or teleporter just to teleport down to your place, because I am still in my winter clothes, and Connie said more clothes. Did you have something in mind, Connie, like a top or a sweater or something like that? Leslie said it's 90s here in Southern California. To live where it's warm. I'm not ever one of them people that is like, oh, you know, I can't wait till summer gets here, and then says, oh, it's so hot, I can't wait till winter gets here. I am not a winter person. Connie said tops. And a sweater. Okay. I definitely will play around with that idea. Tank tops. Okay. Tank tops. So, let's see what else. We would have to play around with that. Clothing is hard with all the different size requirements. Yes, it is. Poncho, but in one piece if possible. We may be able to do something that is customizable. Yeah, let me play around with them ideas for a little bit. That's what I said. Clothing is, I think, one of the hardest things because, A, people don't gauge swatch, and B, people are different sizes, and not everyone knows how to properly take their measurements. So I think that's what makes things a little difficult as well. Oh, I did have another question that came up this week, and I helped through Messenger, and I am going to try to get a video done. I am trying to find another way to film. My phone has been on the fritz, and as you all know, with the country shutdown, nothing's open by me to get another phone. So doing the best I have right now with what I got. But someone had seen a project that I had done a while ago and asked me about the increases. I do, is fat a measurement? If so, that's my size. It may be. I think I wear that size too. Someone was asking me about my increase and decrease video. Yes, I do have an increase video and talk about different methods to increase on each side. What they were asking about is I am, this is backwards on the camera, and it's backwards for me as well. So this is my left side. It's upside down. This is my left side. So, when you're working on a project, if you wanted to increase, so we're going to say, because we were just talking about clothing, that this is a shirt. We all know that this is not. So, if this was the base of your shirt and you had did the bottom of it, we'll say that this is the bottom, you put in the purl stitches, and you come up the side, And now you're to the underarm area. So this part right here, we're going to put this here. Now I want to increase the length of my arms, okay? Because what this person wants to do is create the front and then create a neck hole. So what she wants to do is increase on the right hand side and the left hand side. So what we were working on, and I'm probably going to need to do a tutorial for this, is when you cast off. So now I'm cast off. Now I need my arms to come out, and I want them both to come out on the same row. So what I'm going to do, and I got to turn this backwards because I am right-handed. For my right arm, since I've cast off, you can chain out however long you want your sleeve to be. Then what happens is you start casting on, and we're going to say the width of this is 100 stitches. And we have cast on 100 stitches for this arm. So now we've got to the 200 stitches. How do you make this side so that you have 100 stitches? What you're going to do is you're going to go with the same color yarn and like a different ball, so it would be like a bobbin. And what you're going to do is you're going to go into your final stitch, and you're going to add that second bobbin, and you are going to chain those other 100 stitches. So now you have chained out, so now you've got the 200 stitches. Now you've got that, well, what are you going to do with it? Because now you've chained out, but you can't pick up the stitches to turn back because you've already got your hook over here cast on. You're going to continue, you're just going to cast on into that chain that you've made, and that's going to give you those 100 stitches. That's going to give you the 200 or the 300 stitches that you need for the arms in that pattern. And like I said, I will do a video to explain it better because somebody was completely lost, and I did a small video, but it's not something that, you know, is fully going to explain what we're talking about for the increasing, to increase that many. So I will be doing a video for that as well, and the member, you know who you are. I will get it up here as soon as I can. Melinda said, I mean, I'm in shape. Round is a shape, right? It is a shape. It's the current shape that I am, round. Hi, Vicky. So yes, I will do a video on that, and it will talk about the increasing. Stephanie, will you and Erica go live when y'all get together? Yes, we will. Yes, we definitely will be going live together. So it's going to be interesting. Two BFFs together. Maybe dangerous. What all is going on? Oh, another one asked about the Deramo case. This is the case that I ordered from Amazon. You can order these. They're double pouches. You can order these with hooks, or you can order them as an empty case. I actually ordered mine with hooks and then took the hooks out for regular crochet because somebody I knew was in need of crochet hooks. So I gave them, and then I put all of my crochet, Tunisian crochet stuff in here. Stephanie said yay. Yes, we will be live together. Hi, Linda. So yes, there will be a video for the increasing on the left side, or the right side if you're left-handed, by a multiple number of stitches that will help you. As far as the clothing, I will definitely need to figure out some sizes and some things because everybody is a different size and a different shape, so we will have to do like a video on how to measure yourself and how to accommodate for stitches. if you need to increase because you're a little thicker in an area, or you need to decrease because you're a little thinner in that area. So that may be like a learning thing that we have go on that we could add to the events. When Eric and I get together, we will also be adding the videos to YouTube and getting all of that done. So, you know, as much as we're going to have a fun vacation, we're also going to have a working vacation. So, but I'm so excited. I can't even tell you. I actually dreamt the other night that Erica and I went on vacation, and we ended up over in Hobby in Turkey and over that area, and we bought so much yarn that we needed to bring it back in a U-Haul. It was crazy, but that's Erica and I. So yeah, I'm dreaming about my vacation because I haven't had it. Hi, Linda. Connie said that would be great. Yes. There's a, you know, and that's the thing. People don't realize sometimes how much work goes into a pattern. And sizing, because everybody is shaped a different way. You can't, you know, it's a lot of things are, yeah, they're one size fits all, but there are things that are not one size fits all, because, you know, if you want something that's flattering, it takes different measurements and different things. Erica said you made me snort. Hi, Annette. I thought I had crazy dreams. Yeah, we went yarn shopping, and I had some crazy dreams that night. And she's like, I couldn't sleep. I said, well, they say that if you're awake at night, then someone's dreaming about you. I said, so that's my fault. So, I'm looking forward to seeing everybody's Tunisian shawls. Those are coming out fantastic. I have been playing around with a pattern that is going to be released only in the group here. It is a Graphghan pattern, and it will only be released here in our files. I am not jumping on the designing Graphghan bandwagon. I just have been playing around with some stuff, and so, but I thought it was kind of appropriate. I want to know how we got the U-Haul back to the U.S. No, you don't. I was wondering that too. I told you it was a crazy dream. We drove the U-Haul into a Carnival cruise ship. It was like, what are those RVs called? A toy hauler. So we drove this U-Haul into a Carnival cruise ship that was a toy hauler and hauled the yarn back that way. We also ended up bringing back alpacas because Erica, as many of you don't know, has chickens. So she decided she was going to bring home alpacas for her own yarn too. So it was a crazy dream. It was weird. Erica said, "Oh my God, this is great." Yeah, Chris was not happy when we come home with all of these alpacas, because one, I think it was Eric drove the U-Haul home, and Chris picked us up in a bus that had no seats in it, and we put all these alpacas in it. It was crazy. So yeah, I have some crazy dreams. I guess I really want to go on vacation, and since it's not happening, it's subconsciously happening. I need that huge cup slap full of strong coffee. Yeah, it's cold here, so strong coffee is exactly right up my alley. My hands were so cold earlier, I couldn't stand it. Hurt cold. Um, you know, everybody that put their plants in got to cover them because now we're getting frost, and I'm so over all this cold weather. I so am over it. I am going to see if I can find a shorter variegated yarn color um, to work up the practice piece that we're doing in. And Erica said, I'm dying here. Yeah, your husband was not happy with us at all. I have some crazy dreams. Erica was up till like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. She's like, I couldn't sleep last night. I was like, that's funny because I dreamt about you all night. So, yeah, I'm going to find a different yarn to do this practice piece up. I'm open to ideas. A lot of everything that I have is either a solid color or the cake yarns, and those are not really going to work so well. So, I got to find something, because the colors are just not going to pop without on this small swatch. They're just not going to pop. And as much as this looks cute, you know, it's so hard for you guys to be able to get an idea of what is actually going on there with the loops. Deborah said it's upper 80s here. Oh, what I would give to be there. Red heart stripes. I might have to get a skein of that and try it then. Because like I said, this is a cute pattern, but you know, that's another thing, you know, can you use any yarn for a stitch? Yeah, you can use any yarn for stitches, but it's what yarn is going to complement the pattern, or do you need the pattern to complement the yarn? Like the shawl that we're doing. To get that border to pop, you know, you needed a yarn that was not going to pill or be fuzzy, so that you can see the stitch definition. He even had a red, white, and blue red heart stripes. Yeah, that might be an idea too. Like I said, I just need something else and that's shorter, and I don't have anything here like that. Everything I have is the longer, which is great. You know, this yarn that I have, that this pattern worked up in, is great for the shawls, you know, the shawl that we're going to do, but unfortunately, it's not going to show on the swatch pattern that we're doing. So I guess I'm going to have to get a skein of that and try it out and make sure it's going to work. Do we have any more questions this evening? I've been hoping to get a few things done, and I am not computer savvy at all, so that's why I was kind of hoping that my vacation with Erica, that we could get together and get some of this stuff done, and unfortunately, with everything going on, it just has not worked out yet. So hopefully they will open everything back up and we can get together and get things going on. They even canceled the Crochet Guild of America conference that they were going to have in Louisiana this year. So everything in the world, including the crochet world, has been upside down lately. When I do get the new books in, I will talk to you about what they have in them. I ordered a few different things, and I'm hoping that they should be here by like the middle of May. So I'm hoping, you know, that's the thing about ordering books, is you never know exactly what's in them. So, you know, there's been a few books that look very informative, and I've got them, and they've had a few Tunisian patterns that have been great, but the book really doesn't have as much as I had hoped. To pay for the book and get it, and be disappointed by the fact that there's not as much in it, or it's not as informative as you wanted it to be, is a little disappointing. And Tunisian stuff is just so hard to find sometimes. So, anyway, we'll see what they're like when they come in. Well, guys, if you don't have any more questions, I'm going to wrap up what's going on for the evening. Please post the pictures of what you guys are working on, this Tunisian, in the group. You members are what keeps the group great, and hopefully we will get some more polls up here and everything else once everything kind of straightens out around here, because we would like to know what you guys want to see in the group, and we also want to know like what videos, what you guys want to see, because it's, you know, just because it's a Tunisian group doesn't mean that I know everything that you guys want. And that's what keeps us fun, is if you guys have input. And your input is what keeps the group growing and getting our name out there. Because that's one of the things too, since I don't have a YouTube channel that's set up, a lot of the videos that are in here you can't share, or you can't get out without being considered like self-promoting another group. And, you know, once the videos are out there, then it will bring people, to the group and get us to grow and get more members and get more people involved. So that's, you know, that's an important thing. I don't expect you guys to go out and share what a great group we are everywhere you go, because I don't want to see you guys banned from groups or kicked out for promoting us. I do absolutely love and am humbled every time I see another member that goes into another group and somebody's asking for help, and somebody does say, hey, the Tunisian Crochet Graphghan Boutique is a great group. They've taught me everything I know, or they've taught me a lot of stuff, and, you know, the members there and the family environment is fantastic. Go over there and you can get help. I absolutely am humbled every time I see that. I cannot tell you guys that enough. I never imagined in less than 3 years that we would be as big as we are. I never did. I enjoyed teaching and thought, hey, you know, 5 years ago I'll join this group and I'll help and I'll teach my methods, and, you know, I never imagined that this would be this. I'm humbled by all of you, and I appreciate every one of you guys, and I can't say that enough. I hope that you guys all have a fantastic evening. If you guys need any of that, anything, please don't hesitate to message Erica, Angela, or I. We will help you, get you help. Melinda says I've done that a few times. Yes, you have, and I appreciate it. I like helping and teaching people, and, you know, Facebook is a great platform, and I am not on Instagram, I'm not on Twitter, and I would really like to get the YouTube channel set up as soon as Erica and I can get together. That's one of the things that I really need help with, that I know she can show me and I can videotape, so that when I come home I know how to do it myself. Alright guys, have a fantastic evening. Thank you all for joining me, and crochet away. I'll see you guys. Bye. I'll see you next Wednesday.